Hi everyone, it's Tasha. Welcome back to my channel. I'm off to the thrift shops in search of home decor that looks high-end but is way easier on my budget. I've drawn a lot of inspiration for this video from Pottery Barn's new spring arrivals, so come on and join me for this thrift challenge. Well, once again, I have been off to the thrift shops this past week, and let me tell you, I have found a lot of stuff this week. I'm just giving you a heads up. I have lots of things to share with you in this video. So I'm going to show you some footage, first of all, of me just shopping around this past week, and these tortoiseshell vases really caught my eye. Tortoiseshell, as you probably are aware, has had quite a moment recently. And I have to admit, I have never seen a little side table quite like this one before. I really liked this candle holder. Unfortunately, it was kind of very cheap plastic, not actual marble, but it looked pretty from a distance. I thought that this frame here on the left with this pale colored wood was a really pretty frame, and I wondered if I might be able to use it to trade out the print inside for some sort of landscape. I fell in love with these little coffee mugs, and they were only 99 cents each. There were 6 of them. I was so tempted to get them. However, I know that they wouldn't work with my Nespresso that I use every day because it would just make too much coffee for the size of mug that was, so I had to put them back. Now I'm off to Trosa thrift store. This is in North Durham, and you've seen me go in here before. I like to go in here at least every couple of weeks and look around. They always have tons of lamps to look at, as well as lots of home decor and lots of furniture. I thought that this metal kind of sculptural shallow bowl could be really interesting. And in a separate aisle, I also found this similar candle holder. These faux roses look pretty good and didn't cost very much at all. This vintage tin bread box was pretty cool, even though it was missing the lid. I also thought that this little wooden tray that's kind of leaf-shaped was very interesting and unique. Speaking of unique, I have never seen a table quite like this one before. I had to take a closer look. Okay, so this is what I brought home. First of all, kind of out of left field, I realized, but I brought home this poster. This is Peter Rabbit from Beatrix Potter's Classic. Now, we love Beatrix Potter around here. We have all of the books. I read them to my daughter all the time, so this caught my eye. This is such a cute print of him eating the carrots in the garden. This was $12.99, which was a little bit more than I wanted to pay, but I still brought it home. I don't know if you have seen Pottery Barn's new collection of Peter Rabbit stuff, but they actually have some. There's mats, there's linen napkins, plates, everything. So I was pretty happy with this one for $12.99 for my daughter's playroom. I think that it adds a really sweet touch in here and is meaningful to us personally. I also brought home this fabric wrapped pinboard for my daughter's playroom. Now, Pottery Barn does have this linen home office pinboard here. It's a larger size, as you can see, but it's $199. For me, I'm going to be sticking to this smaller $3.99 version that makes a nice touch in her playroom. I also brought home this metal wire sort of wrapped bowl. I thought that this was really interesting and could be styled in several different ways, so I grabbed it. It was only 99 cents. Now Pottery Barn has this set of willow wheel wall art, and it kind of reminded me of that. So you can use this as a bowl on a tabletop, obviously, or you can kind of layer it in behind something, which is what I was going to do with it here. I'm just putting it on my hutch and styling it behind the objects that I already have there. And while I'm over here, I'll just go ahead and show you what I'm doing with my antique dough bowl. I took some pine cones out of it that were in it for the winter and Christmas seasons, and now what I decided to put in it instead is actually a bundle of vintage books. I thought this was an interesting take and just added a little bit of uniqueness to this hutch. So back to my metal bowl, I also can hang this on the wall, which I think is a winner for me. Next, I also brought home this little kind of clay colored vase. It did still have the tag on it, but it was marked for $3.99. I couldn't pass this one up. I'm not exactly sure where that brand is sold, but I know that Pottery Barn has plenty of vases in this terracotta color in their collection. They vary in size, so they vary in price as well. For only $3.99, I couldn't resist bringing a little bit of that inspiration into my own home in this smaller piece. I'm styling it on that same hutch on the top shelf, and I'm going to be placing in it some of my favorite faux stems, which are these wildflower stems from House Floral. Next, I also brought home that bundle of faux rose stems. I thought that they were very pretty. Pottery Barn sells bundles of faux florals as well, as I'm sure you've seen. They have this bundle for $39, but for me, I'm always going to first shop at the thrift stores and see what I can find there before I buy new. I thought that this bundle was really pretty. I took it out of the initial blue kind of clear vase and I put it into a cream colored vase that I already had. And I could leave it like that, but since this is on my dining room table kind of front and center every day, I wanted to make sure that they looked their best. And I do see some frayed edges and some strings coming out, as well as some kind of crinkles and bends in some of the outer petals there. So I'm just going to give these a little facelift, which I think will make them look excellent. For this, I'm going to be using my handheld steamer. Now, I keep this in the laundry room and I use this on clothes, curtains, and basically lots of things around the house to get wrinkles out. This method also freshens up silk and polyester flowers like this. So I'm just taking this, now steam is coming out, although you can't really see it on the video, and I'm just pushing it all into the center of the flower, all around the edges. I take the flower, hold it tight, and kind of fluff it up and down. And what I'm doing is making this flower not only get the kind of crinkles out, but it opens it up. Then I'm taking and snipping off some of those frayed edges that I was talking about. I'm thinking that you'll probably be able to see the difference when I hold this flower up on the left that I have not fluffed versus the one on the right that I just did. It just looks fresher, fuller, and more alive than the one on the left. So I think that this is worth the couple minutes that it takes to steam them. Now in this arrangement, I've put back the one flower that I've done, and I still think that you can tell a difference beside the other ones. This one just looks fresher and more alive and more realistic. So I'm just going to go around the rest of this bundle and hit them all with some steam. I like to again just kind of take that and also kind of tap it down into the center of the flower as I'm working with it. That really helps the petals to open up. Then I'm taking my scissors and snipping off all of the frays that I see, because I don't want any signs that these are artificial. This is the before and after I have steamed each flower in the bundle, and I think you'll agree that they look better. So I'm very happy with this bundle, especially after I took the extra step of steaming it, and this only cost me $3.99 plus a vase that I already owned. Now moving on, it is a pretty dreary day around here, as you can see, but I'm just up in my daughter's room and I'm thinking I need to freshen things up a little bit, so I'm removing her flannel sheet set. I found this absolutely darling little yellow gingham top sheet in the bin the other day at Goodwill. I've already washed it, of course, and this has this nice ruffle detail at the top. I think that it's just so precious, and yellow is actually her favorite color. So for only $1.99, I definitely had to get this sheet. I also found this little heart pillow. Now this is an interesting one. I looked it up on Amazon and it's actually around $30 for this pillow. It is full of beads or something that makes it weighted, and it's supposed to feel like the weight of a hug when you hold it. Now, Pottery Barn does have these faux fur heart-shaped pillows right now that are new releases, and they are about $50 each, which is a little surprising. Mine is around the same size as that, and it is a nice cream color, and it was only $1.99 from the Goodwill bin, and I just threw that in the washer as well. So I think that between these two touches, the new sheet and the little pillow, it kind of just freshens this room up as we look forward to the spring months to come. Another thing that I brought home was this book. This is Nate Berkus's Home Rules, and it's a design book. It's actually from the early 2000s, but this was initially $27 back then. I thought that this was so pretty, the cover underneath the jacket here, and that's what I'm going to be using. Now, Pottery Barn does sell design books, and they start at about $50 and kind of go up from there. So for me, especially for books, I'm always going to utilize thrifted books first. This only cost me 49 cents at Trosa thrift store, and it's a perfect little piece in a neutral color and an interesting cover that I can pop in and layer just about anywhere in the house. I also brought home this little black metal candle holder. This was also 99 cents, and it looks similar to the bowl. It occurred to me that I could sit my regular glass candles inside of this so that they would be covered up, like maybe if it was a pattern that I didn't love, or just to spruce it up. But it didn't occur to me how awesome this would look once the candle was actually lit behind those black pieces. It looks amazing, and I'm so glad that I grabbed this for only 99 cents. And the last but not least thing that I brought home with me was this amazing iron lamp. I thought that this was so cool when I saw it in the store. I love how it has the 3 little feet. It's very heavy, obviously. It has this nice pleated shade, and I got this from Trosa. I've been seeing these buffet style lamps, I believe they're called, more on designer sites lately. It's a skinny, tall lamp with a smaller size shade on it, and they are often used in pairs, but also just alone as a real pop. Now, a lot of these that I'm seeing on Pottery Barn's website are similar, but maybe a little bit more modern leaning in their style. I've also seen this one over at our house I thought was really interesting with the pleated shade. Oh my gosh, I totally forgot to test this lamp when I was at the thrift store. That was really stupid of me, especially since they have a testing area. But I've just put a bulb in it, and I really hope that it works. Let me try this. Okay, cross your fingers out there. Ah! Oh, it works. Phew! Don't do that. Don't be me. So I'm definitely glad that this one worked and I didn't have to do any work to it. Here it is without being lit and with being lit, so you can see the difference. Now, I tried this in several different spots. It is a little bit different than a shorter, wider style lamp, so I had to play with it as far as placement. And I tried it on 2 different tables in the front living room, which is the room I really wanted it to be in. I ended up with it here, but it wasn't looking quite right on that side, and I realized it was because I keep this largish basket underneath this table on the right side to hide an outlet that's there. So once I switched the lamp to the left side of the table to kind of counterbalance that large basket underneath, it looked a lot better. This is one of the reasons that I love to thrift shop, because I wouldn't have bought a new lamp in this style. I would have been a little trepidatious because I wouldn't have known for sure where it would work in our house or if I would love it. But buying it from a thrift store for only $12.99 gives me the freedom to experiment and bring it home, and like, what's the worst that can happen, right? It was $12.99. So that's one of the reasons I love to go thrift shopping, just so that I get that freedom to experiment with new items. That about wraps up today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please hit like and leave me a comment letting me know what you enjoyed. If you haven't subscribed but would like to see more of these videos in your feed, go ahead and hit that button. And in the meantime, I will see you at the next video.